Veterinarians discover their cow after a dog gives birth. By the time the couple chose to adopt Rosie, she was well into her pregnancy. Although they had rescued several dogs in the past, this was the first time they had encountered such a situation. The couple was astounded by what they saw when she entered labor and began giving birth. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. They were aware of her urgent need for assistance. In 2017, Rosie, a golden retriever mix, was heartlessly abandoned at the shelter by her former owners. She was also pregnant and due any day, which made the situation more worse. No dog should have to give birth alone in a crowded shelter, and the shelter staff was concerned for her and her puppies since they just did not have the means to care for another litter. Now more than ever, Rosie needed assistance. Knowing that Rosie would require special care, the animal shelter's manager reached out to Neuse River Golden Retriever Rescue, a North Carolina nonprofit that specializes in rehabilitation and providing foster homes for golden retrievers awaiting adoption. Luckily, a member of the organization knew the ideal pair for the position. When a volunteer from Neuse River Golden Retriever Rescue picked Rosie up from the shelter the next morning, she realized there was a chance she would go into labor before they could get to the veterinarian. Fortunately, Rosie managed to go to the Raleigh Veterinary Facility, where the on-call veterinarian declared her healthy. Finding a skilled foster family who could help Rosie give birth was the next step, now that they were certain she was in excellent health. In 2009, Katie and John Black started fostering pets. More than 20 dogs have been successfully fostered by them since then. Rosie was adopted into the Blacks' home 5 days after she was left at the shelter because the volunteer was confident that the pair had all the knowledge needed to make sure Rosie's delivery went smoothly. However, no one could have predicted how events would unfold. On Instagram, the Blacks said, "This is our new foster, Rosie. She is very pregnant and almost ready to give birth to her puppies." At first, Rosie was quiet and a little scared, and that was understandable. She was ready to give birth to a litter of puppies while surrounded by strangers. However, the Blacks would be treated to a surprise on the big day that would enthrall the entire internet. A few days later, Rosie went into labor, and Katie and John did everything they could to make her comfortable. The Blacks understood just what to do to guarantee she and her puppies survived, despite the fact that the birth was hard. However, Katie was astounded by what she saw as the puppies started to show up. The couple was very surprised by the pups that were coming out as they helped Rosie. They had to make sure Rosie maintained her strength and gave birth to each youngster in a respectable amount of time, so they couldn't focus on how the pups looked. The Blacks had expected a big litter since Rosie's tummy had been so big, but they were in for another surprise. The Blacks were shocked when Rosie only gave birth to 4 puppies, even though they had made sure she had given birth to all of them. Fortunately, all of them were big and healthy, but the Blacks knew that other canines her size typically gave birth to 5 or 6. Katie sighed in satisfaction that Rosie had finally delivered all of her puppies. Then she posted the update that sent the internet into a frenzy for her social media followers. "Our foster dog, a golden mix, gave birth yesterday to baby cows," writes Katie. To the amusement of everybody, the 4 puppies didn't resemble their mother at all and had strange black patches. The puppies were hilariously named Clarabelle, Betsy, Daisy, and Moo by the Blacks, and Rosie's cow puppies became a huge hit on the internet. Soon, jokes and remarks about the odd-spotted animals took over Katie's social media accounts. Katie told the Press Association, "My dad laughed at the pictures for a long time." The puppy's father was obviously not a golden retriever like Rosie, but what exactly was he? Many dog breeds have black patches and white fur, and social media users were fascinated by the mystery as they all sought to figure out what he was. Some thought the father had been an English setter, while others were certain Rosie had fallen in love with a Dalmatian. As everyone participated in the guessing game, there was no lack of theories. Who was correct then? Although there are several breeds with black spots and white fur, Dalmatians are the only ones who appear to have real spots. The term ticking refers to the little, discrete patches of tiny dots that make up the markings of dogs with other characteristics. Rosie's family portrait, meanwhile, was going viral. The idea to share the puppy pictures on Reddit came from Katie's father. He was right when he predicted that they would become viral. Rosie and her children took the internet by storm. The fact that Rosie appeared to be as confused by her babies as everyone else added to the amusement of the pictures. The picture received over 90,000 likes and 1,600 comments, and the couple's fame soared after Katie posted the picture to Instagram. One Reddit member said, "I think there's been a mix-up here." Others remarked on Rosie's humorous demeanor, stating that it appeared as though she was justifying her decisions. So what? Is that really that important? Are you really so narrow-minded? However, other commentators weren't quite so complimentary. Naturally, there were some critics, just like with other popular tales. Some condemned Katie and John of letting their foster rescue dogs to reproduce, while the majority of those who viewed the pictures of Rosie's cow pups were pleased about the situation. To the Blacks' credit, when they took Rosie in, she was already pregnant. Katie was cautious to clarify that they hadn't permitted Rosie to become pregnant after receiving cruel remarks. "We weren't going to abort her puppies," Katie said, clarifying that they had already acquired Rosie pregnant. "She will be spayed immediately when she can be." The fact that Rosie became pregnant in the first place is regrettable. Katie and John had to do all they could for her litter, even though they didn't want it to add to the world's unwanted canine population. Rosie's recuperation, however, wasn't proceeding according to plan. Despite the healthy birth, Rosie's health started to deteriorate after giving birth to her litter. Rosie had metritis, a bacterial infection in her uterus brought on by a difficult delivery, and the Blacks discovered that she was infected. While the Blacks took care of the pups, the veterinarian prescribed antibiotics for a few weeks. Thankfully, Rosie's illness went away, allowing her to start feeding her babies on her own. She quickly recovered, adapted well, and was content to be a mother and take care of her babies. Rosie was also an excellent mother. She followed her pups everywhere they went since she was protective of them. The puppies stopped looking like cows as they grew older. When the pups opened their eyes in 2 weeks, Katie and John were growing more and more in love with them. Soon they were racing on their wobbly tiny legs through the backyard. Rosie seemed happy enough to be a dedicated and kind mother to her children. Soon, the rescue facility was inundated with adoption requests. Rosie was a wonderful mother to all of her puppies. She enjoyed feeding them and kissing them from head to toe. John and Katie watched devotedly. After everything she had been through, this mother could finally relax knowing she was secure. All of the puppies still needed homes, though. The couple chose not to retain any of the puppies, despite their strong attachment to each one. When they were 10 weeks old, their new families took them one by one to their new homes, where they are still doing well. However, what about Rosie, their mother? Rosie has also discovered her forever home. A man soon became eager to meet Rosie after reading her amazing story on Facebook. He welcomed her into his house right away after falling in love. She has been sterilized to make sure she never has to experience such a traumatic event again and has a good life ahead of her. The baby cows have all been taken in by devoted families who will care for and protect them daily. What about Rosie? She did as well, but like the excellent mother she is, she waited until all of her puppies had been adopted before leaving to live with her new family. Rosie's tale would be much worse if it weren't for incredible individuals like the Blacks. Rosie's story is just one of many, and she will undoubtedly lead a happy life because to a committed shelter and a couple's affection for the breed. If you are unable to adopt a rescue animal, you might be able to foster one instead, since shelters need all the assistance they can get. You may give or simply raise awareness about rescue groups and the incredible animals out there looking for forever homes if you are unable to foster. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.